Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Mina channel. Today we're gonna be doing something pretty interesting here. Actually been trying to hold off onto doing these discussion videos until everybody's kind of done with the game and everything. So I feel like most people are now done with Persona 5 Strikers, so we're gonna go ahead and doing these discussion videos, character discussion videos, where I discuss a particular character in singularity, just a single character. So today we're gonna start the entire saga of discussion videos with Ichinose. So Ichinose and her relationship with Emma. Now, spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen the video, if I haven't finished the game, please I encourage you to not continue with this video because it will be containing heavy spoilers and you will be spoiled a lot of surprises for the game. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So Ichinose and Emma is an interesting concept because it will also involve speaking about Sophie as well. I think like one of the biggest and more interesting twists in this game is really not Emma itself, or not really even Ichinose itself partaking on being a creator of Emma, but being the creator of Sophie and kinda in a larger scheme, kinda how she reacts to things happening, whether it's the things with Sophie or whether it's her relationship with Emma, which is actually really interesting. So let's go ahead and kind of talk about the timeline and kind of what we see about Ichinose as a person. So Ichinose, just as we learned to her, she created Sophie first. She was somebody that is probably somebody really lack of empathy. She doesn't seem to be somebody that is able to kind of empathize with other people, and she does recognize that and says, yeah, I do struggle with that a lot, and I don't have a heart. That's what she calls it, but it's really just a lack of empathy. As she continues to that, she really just created Sophie so she can actually learn empathy or learn more about humanity, or her humanity as with her. So as you know, Sophie was developed with this kind of I guess with being humanity's companion, which in reality means that she is looking for a companion within herself or within other people, and I feel like that's kind of noble and kind of interesting in and of itself. It seems like she created Sophie really alike to herself. For example, you can pick up a lot of different clues, like she hums whenever she's doing something. You see Sophie humming a lot, and when she is programming Sophie, it seems like she's also doing a lot of the same stuff, which leads me to believe that Sophie and Ichinose are really close to each other in personality and maybe a lot of different more aspects, which is obviously we don't really see much of Ichinose, but based on the relationship with each other and a lot of the different clues, you can really pick that up. One other interesting fact that I kind of liked as far as like what we see with her relationship with Sophie or Emma really is how fast she gave up on the idea of Sophie kind of learning. She really expected Sophie to just immediately spit out an answer for her, which does show that she maybe has a lack not of only empathy but also social skills. She really kind of lacked kind of direction or motivation or where to go for a particular aspect, and I thought it was an interesting subject. She really just kind of gave up on the idea of Sophie and created a much slimmer version of Sophie, Emma, which is kind of just more of a relatively less interesting AI. If you think of something like Alexa or Siri or any of those kind of AIs nowadays, which we already know, which in and of itself is an interesting talk as far as like what the developers are trying to say as far as humanity and now AIs and what direction that this is going. I feel like this is going to be an interesting topic to talk in a different video, but I do want to mention that it is kind of acknowledged in this game, and almost like in a preachy way too, kind of like, oh, humans are too depending on AIs nowadays and kind of stuff, which again an interesting subject to talk about. Not necessarily what I would say like a really smart way of saying it or anything like that. I feel like it really lacked a lot of different aspects to kind of like actually make a commentary on it, but I do find it to be an interesting subject to talk about, so I will be talking about that later on in a different video. But once we kind of put the pieces together, we finally realize that she is the creator of both Sophie and Emma. It's also interesting to see how this person really just reacts to all this stuff. She was really almost lacking of kind of reaction in a sense, because she was taken by Emma as kind of like this person that is gonna help her, and she immediately just jumped into it. She, her lack of empathy and her lack of kind of social skills show that she doesn't really comprehend what she's doing. In a sense is bad, And even at the end, I don't really feel like she really understood that her choices were bad, especially when she just kind of, well, I realized now that I did some bad stuff, so now I'm just gonna go and find myself. That kind of just felt really out of place. It really anticlimactic in a sense, because it really kind of took the idea of her just kind of like doing a bad thing and then just kind of like, well, I'm just gonna do better next time. And I'm like, yeah, how about you acknowledge the issues and maybe like go to jail, because what you're doing is kind of, no, I don't know if she particularly did anything illegal in itself, but the fact that she was cooperating with Emma, I feel like maybe you could make an argument for that. But I do feel like what she did was wrong, and just acknowledging the fact that she did something wrong doesn't really like make it better for like anybody that actually suffered through it or anything like that. And the fact that she just kind of was acknowledged by Sophie, and she was just like, oh, Ichinose, let's go together and we'll kind of figure things out together. I was like, that was an interesting take. I didn't really expect them to kind of just go in that direction. I really thought that they were probably gonna punish her in some kind of way, and kind of maybe even Sophie be like, yo, you did something wrong, you need to do something about it. Instead they just kind of just go off in another adventure. I just kind of felt like it's a little bit weird. I don't even know how to even make a take on that, because it was just bizarre for me. Overall, I like the character. I thought it was an interesting character. Motivation wise, it's just all over the place. There's an actually it's actually the interesting part is her lack of motivation, which kind of makes her a little more of a compelling character if you look at it that way, opposed to seeing kind of like trying to dig out some kind of motivation for herself because there isn't really any. She almost reminds me of kind of other characters like Adachi from Persona 4 in a sense, because he also has a lack of motivation, which can also makes him a really interesting, compelling character. But I wouldn't call Ichinose to be a really interesting character as much as he's an interesting subject on kind of looking at somebody like that. But I do find it to be intriguing, to say the least, but I don't feel like she was a really good character. However, her relationship with Sophie is really interesting, as well as her relationship with Emma, and kind of all unfolded together. I did find that to be interesting. I was not shocked. I thought it was really obvious once you know that she was the person responsible for creating Emma, and she does leave you some clues as she goes on and on. So anyway, that is pretty much in this video here. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. What were your thoughts in Ichinose? And again, I will be continuing to doing this series of videos talking about different characters that I found relevant, interesting, or intriguing. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this. If you're new, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.